No one said you could touch.
Recently, I played Bayonetta 2. Now, I must admit, I never played the first Bayonetta, so immediately upon entering this game, I was a little bit confused at the entire backstory of this world, although it did give an okay representation of everything pretty quickly at the start. I was quickly really confused by how sexual the game seems to be, with there being multiple clothed but very obviously nearing the female genitalia close-ups. And generally speaking, the entire thing had this kind of crude humor aspect to it that was kind of engaging, and in some ways, I don't know, just kind of very rock star-ish from like the Bully era is kind of what it felt like. One of the most weird parts, however, I would say in my first period of playing this game was a joke made by this Italian character where he basically says that a woman who just died is really hot and he wasn't a fan of her while she was living, but still isn't a fan of her, although he made the comment for some reason, and I don't understand why. Is he a necrophiliac? Maybe, or maybe not. Bayonetta is a witch who goes around and fights various either demons or angels in order to get to her goals and kind of just rid the world of various beasts and fucked up things in various different dimensions. In this one, basically, she has a partner named Jeanne who gets knocked out of her body. Her soul gets knocked straight the fuck out of her body and gets dragged to hell because all witches, apparently, their souls get dragged to hell. You also have side characters such as Rodin, who runs the, Gates of Hell, which is a shop/bar that you go to in order to purchase new weapons and upgrades. Your goal is to go to the real Gates of Hell, however, and try to enter hell in order to release Jeanne and get her body back up into the world of the living. This, of course, is going to be extremely difficult considering the fact that, the witches are banished to the Netherrealm whenever they die, and it's going to take a lot to get to her. On the way, she finds somebody, aka a child, named Loki, who she refers to as a little one, which gets her into even more trouble as she fights off various people that are looking for Loki. There are many boss fights or mini-bosses within this game, and a lot of it is very reminiscent of the Devil May Cry style of combat that all is ranked, and basically you fight many enemies at a time, or you'll end up fighting one very large and difficult enemy. As the game progresses, there are various different levels that you go to that are all separated by these cards that you pick up and turn over, and then you can either go to the shop or you can start playing your level. And as you go through the levels, you can find chests that give you pieces of either health upgrades that you can complete all of them and then you get an upgrade, or you can find different things like rings that you can purchase stuff from the shop with, or you can find various different items throughout the game. There are also various different notebook entries that you can find around each level that gives you a little bit of backstory on the level, as well as there are different things you can read about in-game of the various different characters that you fight, again, some of them being angelic while others are demonic. Also, you have this really cool cheetah ability as Bayonetta where you can run around really quickly on land, as well as you can become a serpent in the water after a certain portion of the game, and you can actually maneuver in the water completely freely for the most part, and you can find new stuff under the water as well. On top of this, there is a customization factor where basically you can go buy various different weapons and upgrades, and you can equip them to your various different slots, and you can hold two different, sets at one time, set A and set B, and you can switch off whenever you'd like. So if you have one set that, say, has guns and knives, and the other one has, just two sets of guns, you can switch between those, and everything has their own perks. This, different customization aspect definitely adds a lot more to the game and adds a replayability aspect, so you can kind of see what you can do with each different weapon against each new enemy type. The ranking system has to do with how quickly you dispatch of your enemies and how much damage you take and various other aspects to give you whatever your final ranking would be. and the entire game is just a lot of fun. There are various different combos that you can do, as well as you can utilize various different special aspects of each weapon that you gain, and this allows for various different ways to engage every single enemy. On top of that, you can do things like use ranged weapons, or you can get up close and personal in order to really fucking take out your enemy. Also, there's these really cool things like little details, such as you have this kind of photo finish type thing that happens when you kill certain enemies, or you're at the end of killing a group of enemies, and this does this thing where it kind of flashes, showing you a still shot pretty much of your character as it kills the final enemy. The worst part, I would say, however, is the length of the cutscenes. While I do think that the story is pretty decent thus far, I think that the cutscenes are way too long, and a lot of the times you can completely skip some of them and not miss any of the story whatsoever. I think that overall the best part of the game is going to be the variation in enemy types and combat, and the variation in levels and how each level plays out. Every different arena has its own unique perks and disadvantages, and everything just flows very naturally within combat to make the game a really fun and unique experience. What do you guys think? Have you played Bayonetta 2? Did you enjoy it, or did you dislike it? Let me know in the comments down below. I would give this game thus far a 3 out of 4 stars, and I definitely recommend that you check it out if you haven't. Alright guys, I will see you all in the next one.
I spaced out of my head to the depths of the universe. It's a spell or a chance just to open up a new